This is the Silvertips Time Machine podcast. Here's your host, Keith Gerhart.
It's over! Look at that! Hockey game over!
To another episode of the Everett Silvertips Time Machine podcast. Hello, my friends. I'm Keith Gerhart, and I'd like to thank all the fans so far for tuning in to our Silvertips Time Machine podcast on Spotify, also Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you get your podcasts. And also thank you to Brian over with the Everett Silvertips and posting our podcast on Everett Silvertips YouTube channel as well. Feel free to comment if you want. If there's any guests that you want to hear about or want to try to catch up with, please let us know on the comment section. We'll try to do our best to reach out to a few of those players. We got a lot of them lined up right now. The word has gotten out amongst the Silvertips alumni, which is great to hear. Well, let's get to episode number 4, and we're going to set the time machine to 2003, 2004, and let's talk to, I would say, if you put a Mount Rushmore of goaltenders in with the Everett Silvertips, there would be a few out there, but I think you would have to put one down as maybe the pillars of the cradle of goaltenders of the Silvertips. And with me, I think, is one of those pillars that kind of set the tone of goaltending success in Everett Silvertips history. I'm giving him a long, long introduction, but the pride of St. Albert, Alberta is here. Number 31, Jeff Harvey. Jeff, welcome to the Time Machine podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you. You're doing well. Obviously, we'll talk what you're doing now. But first off, I know you kind of mentioned off air. The word's getting out amongst the alumni. They're starting to kind of watch this thing a little bit, which is great. It's good for the fans to kind of go back to the history of it, because there's a lot of fans that haven't been alive, like when you played in that season in 03-04, and when I broadcast, even the 06-07 team. It's neat to know that there's now where the Silvertips have a point where we have a history and basically kind of a pillar of success to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw the first episode there with Riley Armstrong, and gosh, just took me down memory lane. I think we all feel the same way about our time in Everett, that it was probably one of the best times of my life. It was just, as the people made it so special, yourself, Keith, the organization, the fans, number one. None of that would be possible without them. And they just continue that success on for 20 plus years now. And I still love watching games on WHL Live of Everett, seeing that the fans packed in there and the atmosphere is still the same as day one. It's just a special place in my memory, in my heart. And it's just anytime I can talk about it, and saw that you're doing this and the alumni were in the text messages back and forth.
It's great to hear.
And
I'm glad I'm doing this little hobby for me, and it's great. I know we're all busy with our families and other things going on, so this is great to do it. All right, let's get to Jeff Harvey before Everett Silvertips. You were at the Kootenay Ice for 2 seasons, played there in 2000, 2001, 01, 02, then went to Swift Current. What was goaltender Jeff Harvey like as a 17-year-old in Kootenay for the Kootenay Ice?
I was more so unprepared for the Western Hockey League coming into it. I was backing up Dan Blackburn, who ended up being a 7th overall pick to the New York Rangers. Then I got thrust into a starting role at 18 years old, and I wasn't ready for that. And filling in those big footsteps there, I wasn't ready to take that step. And for goaltenders, it takes a different path, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And everything really didn't come to fruition until I got to Everett. And, as Kootenay, I struggled. Swift Current, I had some success, a little bit, but not enough, right? Obviously, I went to the expansion draft for a reason, because the success wasn't there. And I thank Sotar to this day for taking a chance on me. But for goaltenders though, coming into the league, like, you don't always see guys become studs right off the hop. And myself was definitely,
like you mentioned, went to Swift Current, and then the spring of 2003 hit in the expansion draft. Did you have a feeling that you were going to get selected? Did you have any inkling, or maybe a hope? Hey, I hope I get selected. Or what was your thoughts going into that off season?
It was kind of unknown. Like, the way things ended in Swift Current, we got swept by Medicine Hat first round. And honestly, I was a big reason why to blame of that. I'll be honest. My play wasn't good enough. So I definitely knew it was a struggle for me to be in the league at 20. So I thought the expansion draft was a possible situation where I would go. I wasn't sure about going back to Swift Current if they wanted me or not, and I was thrilled when Doug Sotart called me after especially seeing Kevin Costner get announced as a head coach, an NHL head coach going to this franchise, and it was a fresh start. It was just a breath of fresh air for me at the time. But it was kind of expected.
I'm going to mention the other shows we had. I know everyone kind of got together. And you probably, I guess Cody and Riley, they were kind of, didn't really know too many people, but you knew quite a few people coming with you to Everett, didn't you?
Yeah, it was nice. It was like a reunion because John Dahl got traded from Swift Current to Saskatoon. So all of a sudden we saw the names of the expansion draft, and me and Mitch Love called each other, and then Johnny Dahl got on the horn, and we'd known Riley Armstrong a bit, but like everybody kind of knew everybody. We had our Swift Current connection. I think there was 5 or 6 of us, including like Jovan Maddock. Well, the first goal in franchise history, but like, but we had that, but then we all got there and everyone was in the same boat, just looking for a fresh start, and everybody clicked that summer. We came down, the organization brought us down, showed us the rink, and you could see something special was building after that. The excitement for us to get to camp was just
and it's awesome. We haven't really talked about this from prior shows. That training camp, we didn't do it in Everett because the building wasn't fully built yet. I mean, they're just getting, I think, the seats in around that time. So I believe we went to Strathmore, Alberta. Does that sound about right? Yeah.
That's correct. Strathmore, Alberta, just outside of Calgary.
Yeah. Talk about that first training camp. I mean, obviously, we'll get to how that season ended, but was there the training camp give you any bits of bright spots going into that regular season at all? Just a training camp in the preseason?
Well, I think in training camp, we were all, we had no idea how we'd be as a team. We'd seen Vancouver came into the league a couple of years prior. I think they had 16 or 18 wins. So there was obviously some tentativeness with the guys, expectations. But I then recall we were all watching Ivan Baranka came. This was our savior because he was in the Euro draft. And we were all watching, all the vets were upstairs like, hey, there he is, boys. That's our ticket. Like, we got a stud. Because we didn't have any studs, let's be honest. We were a bunch of lunch pail guys, but then we saw Baranka on the ice. We're like, okay, we got one. We got one. Here we go, boys.
Yep, exactly. And then the regular season hit, off to a little slow start. Wasn't just shocking, but I thought the team competed really hard. Finally got that win. That first win against Seattle, I mean, it was just, I remember a scramble in front of you for like almost close to 30 seconds, or probably less than that. But get that first win under the belt against the T-Birds, and it was probably over 8,000 plus, I assume, at the Everett Event Center at the time. How was that, just as far as getting you guys the confidence for at least that first couple months going into Christmas?
Well, it was huge because we got out of the gate a little slow in Kamloops. We lost opening night, went to Portland the next night, took it on the chin, went to Tri-Cities. I got pulled. I think we were 0-3. And then Mike Wall came from Prince George, gave us a great start in Seattle where we got our first point. He made 36 of 37. He was lights out. And then we lost the home opener, in front of 8,200. And then the Tuesday night came against Seattle. And it's just, I remember Kevin Costner challenged us. It's how you guys do against your rival. And the rivalry of the Puget Sound was born that night. But I remember that. It was just an unbelievable feeling to get that first one. It was the relief, just the excitement. None of it has been a part of the first ever win in a franchise history. So that part was super cool. And just how everybody worked together. It was a classic Silvertip win of that season, 2-1. I probably 15 to 20 of those, but that was our MO. We couldn't done, but we knew how to defend because Kevin built such a great system for us to play. But that night was just, it was special. I still remember to this day, I think I had 43 shots, but guys were blocking shots. Mitch Love, Brian Nathy, Sean Heshka, forwards, Mark Delage, everybody just bought in. It was a complete team win. And that's how they all were. That's why it's such a special group.
It's kind of interesting you say that because I remember Riley Armstrong mentioned being in 1-goal situations wasn't like a big deal for you guys. I mean, that kind of totally makes sense now thinking about it. Like you had so many 1-goal game opportunities in that season. I mean, it was like perfect, absolutely perfect scenario you guys want to be in those 1-goal situations.
For sure. And I think our record when leading after 2 that year was something like 22-0. We didn't blow leads. We knew how to lock it down. I remember Kevin had these last 10-minute rules. It was just, Every puck stays in front of you, no deep pinching, and just everybody bought in because nobody was bigger than the team there. And nobody could be because nobody was a drafted player except for Ivan Baranka. And we all knew that through the team was going to be our success. And we had 20 guys pulling the rope every single night. It was just a special year. Still special to
Yeah, go to the coaching staff because I think that's what helped. I think the team on the ice succeed because I thought the coaching staff outcoached the other coaches. Let's be honest. I think they were well ahead of their time. I think now you think about it now, a lot of the coaching staff's probably scrambled and had to do exactly maybe just try to catch up what Kevin and John and Jay were doing. Just talk about the coaches as a whole, like the video work. I mean, I just remember on the bus, I'm sitting right behind Jay and John. There's a laptop, and they had all the technology at that time. We're talking 2003 technology, but they had it. And there's always a different player on the front of the bus going through video and everything. That had to be a huge edge for you guys, just on a hockey level.
100%. And I will say this without a fact. Without that coaching staff, without Kevin, without John, without Jay, we don't have that success. Those guys were unbelievable. And you're right. They were ahead of their time. Like Kevin he put on a clinic that year. He absolutely put on a clinic with the video and breaking down. And guys, we hadn't seen this stuff before. His ability to break down opponents in playoffs against Spokane, he did it. Against Vancouver, he did it. Against a very good coach in Dean Evison, who's now coaching the Minnesota Wild. I did it against Mark Habscheid against Kelowna. Like he went toe to toe with some of the top coaches in the league, and just his ability to read the game and understand it and break it down on video was about 10, 15 years ahead of his time. And now, and look at the coaching tree those guys created from the guys they coached. You look at Mitch Love, who they created, Brendan Stoney, who's WHL coach of the year. I think Lover is coach, AHL coach of the year. It's unbelievable what those guys created that year and what it's led on to this day. And they still see it. And honestly, it's funny because I worked under Mitch Love here, worked under Brendan Stoney, and they still do the Kevin Costine game reviews and the video and it's all that stuff. And
exactly.
It works.
Better technology 2 years later. A little better, exactly. And it was still good at the time. Don't get me wrong. But for you as a goaltender, I mean, I'm looking up, just that obviously good old hockey DBs there. I mean, you can't believe everything on hockey DB, but you can go off it as a reference point. But your best season obviously was your last season, and maybe to help because of age, maturity. You were 20, but man, I mean, your goals against from the 02-03 season went down to a full goal from 299 to 197. Save percentage went down from we were in the 890 something to a 926. I mean, 5 shutouts, and it was obviously the team in front helps. I mean, but you really saw. I mean, one, you saw a lot of shots, but two, it just in a way. Tell me about your focus throughout the let's go the regular season wise, and it just seemed like the team played hard, really hard in front of you too.
Yeah, there's so much things that went into it. And the biggest thing for me, it was that fresh start. And I love Canadian hockey markets. I think they're great. But getting to Everett was different. It was different mentally for me off the ice because I know playing in Canada, you would hear the noise. There was, internet chat groups and you'd go read this stuff about yourself. And, it's tough as an 18, 19-year-old kid to read that you're a bad goalie and you should have this save and you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And that wore on me. And that was in 03-04. There's way more social media now for these kids to deal with. But I got to Everett and we couldn't do wrong. And honestly, that positive reinforcement from the fans every night, if I let a bad goal, I didn't hear about it. I didn't have to read about it. And that that helped so much and what the fans created for me there. So mentally in my head, that truly helped. That belief system, not seeing the bad stuff about me anymore. It was all good. The fans were unbelievable. But yeah, and obviously the team in front of me was lights out. Kevin's system was lights out. But I truly believe the foundation to that year was set with the experience, the environment off the ice from the fans and how supportive they were. They willed us on to success. We'd have a bad game, we'd lose 5-1. Wouldn't hear about that. They'd just be happy to see us.
The tandem that you were with and Michael Wall. And I totally forgot. Yeah, we did bring him in that kind of towards the early part of the year to help you out. And boy, I mean, he had a great year. I mean, the year after that, but it was interesting because with you for goaltenders, and I see, just watching the NHL and see him interviewed, there's a lot of soft-spoken goaltender. I would put Michael Wall in that area, very soft, more introvert. Great guy, would talk to you. You were probably the most outgoing goaltender I've ever spoke to. I have to say that.
I appreciate that.
That's not a bad thing. It's just like it's weird because I know goaltenders have a kind of kind of the weird guy. They kind of do their own thing, but you were just kind of like just laid back, right? Like I don't think I ever would interview you if you knew you were starting that night. I always make a point to do that. Maybe that's just how I always am too. I don't talk to the starting goaltender the day of a game if I know they're playing. Same with the starting pitcher in baseball, but you're kind of a different cat a little bit as far as just being more outgoing. Talk about like just kind of like your approach as as a 20-year-old. It's just like you mentioned, you felt free, just a little more free out there.
Yeah, honestly, it was the environment and the culture. Coming to the rink was so much fun every day. We were living in a new country, living in the United States, playing at a brand new facility.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was fun. And we had a lot of fun off the ice, but because we all wanted to hang out together, nobody wanted to go home at the end of the year. So we kept playing for each other. It was just truly was like, everyone was just relaxed, honestly, and that truly led to the success on the ice, but it was fun. Honestly, like going on the bus was going to Kelowna in the Western Conference Final, seeing the fan bus and the support. It was so much, like nobody wanted it to end. And I knew that as a 20-year-old. I think that's why I was maybe a little more laid back. I'm soaking it all in. That was a chance of a lifetime. And
with Michael Wall, I mean, that was a really good tandem. I mean, talk about like you're just working with him that season. I mean, he picked up a few shutouts, had some great games. What was it like playing with Michael Wall?
Mm-hmm. He was awesome. Wallsy was an unbelievable teammate, a fierce competitor. And I knew, and it's funny, I got hurt. He took over and there was no drop off. Honestly, he could have been the starting goaltender on that team. He was so good. So good. I recall game 6 in Vancouver in the second round. I got sick that afternoon. He didn't know he was playing. He didn't find out till about 5:30 before the game when I was puking. And he had to go. Then he goes 34-36 and we win 3-2. Like the guy, there was nothing he face and succeed that year. Like we had two great goaltenders and Walsey was an unbelievable human. He went on to play a couple NHL games. It was a treat playing with him. I just think he was a quiet guy, but once you got to know him, he'd open up. But man, he was part of that special experience as well, playing with him. Like we just kind of fed off each other because even in practice, it was so competitive. I love the way he competed. He wanted to win every drill and, you don't see enough of that anymore. And he was awesome.
One of my questions: what happened in Game 6? I totally forgot because when I was watching the old DVDs, through those first 4 years, I just recall like, holy cow, that's right. Jeff Harvey didn't play Game 6 against Vancouver. I'm like, what happened? And then when we won Game 6 and celebrated, you were out there on the ice with the ball cap on as a backup, just in case he had to go in. So I figured, well, he wasn't hurt, so he must have been sick. So now that's that's right. You were sick that night, and it makes it even more remarkable the show that Michael Wall put on that night.
Oh, for him to come in after sitting, not playing, and probably at that point, this was the end of the second round, so he hadn't played in a month. Found out an hour before the game that he'd be playing to do what he did. Like, you just don't see that. Like, he stole the game for us and avoided a game 7. It was awesome. But I still recall coming on the ice because I found on the bench. I puked before the game, felt a little better. And I remember we were all congratulating each other out behind the net. And Barry Horman looks at me. He's like, man, your breath stinks like puke. I'm like, yeah, Horman, just puking all before the game. Like, I got a toothbrush here, man.
That's a classic one. That's a good. That'll probably be a clip. Clip that one, by the way. That's great. Well, I'm glad you felt better because we went on to Kelowna. But let's go to that playoff run. Maybe just talking and going into the playoffs itself, because I know the team had their meetings and just kind of who you want to win this playoffs for. Talk about just kind of the dressing room itself as a whole going into the postseason, especially getting ready before Game 1 against Spokane.
A lot of excitement. So we'd won the division, but you got to remember, we only finished 4 points ahead of Spokane. So we were first, they were 76 and fourth. So it's like, yeah, we were favored, but were we? So and I remember we had a parade, the great fans of Everett, we had a parade through and, Spokane saw that. And it's like, they're probably like, these donkeys having a parade for winning a division. And it's like, we still got to play some real games here. So I recall, I was going in, but the first game, we were down 1-0 with 4 minutes left, and Kevin pulled the goalie super early. And I remember getting on the bench, and I'm like, what's going on here, Kevin? He's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And we had 2 minutes of hemmed in pressure, tied it, won that game in overtime. And I think it was, I don't know if Bass or Chad Basson got it, or Barry Horman. But winning that first, Horman, right? And winning that game changed everything. I truly believe if we lose that first game, then there's some self-doubt. And then we went on to win game 2, 4-0, won game 3 in overtime, 5-4, 4-0 in game 4. And everything just kind of steamrolled. But if we lose game 1, I'm not sure the playoffs go the same way it did. And it was, what a play by Kevin to pull the goalie with 4 minutes left. I've never seen that much time.
I'm right there with you. I think game 1 was so impactful. I mean, maybe more than people know it. I really do. And then it just kind of, and then win game 2 pretty handily. You got the shutout. At game 3, there was a young 16-year-old who wore the number 7, Zach Hamill, at the time, scoring the game winner. I think it was probably 15 at the time, in the playoffs, and then just blew him away pretty much in game 4 and off to Vancouver. Great series. I mean, like we mentioned that with Wall playing in game 6. Kelowna series came up, taking on a gauntlet. I mean, I know we talked about, but your thoughts against the Rockets. It seemed like a lot of belief for you guys, because the way you came out and winning game 1, it's like, we're going to be here for a while. I think the game 1 win in Kelowna was a statement like, it doesn't matter what you guys throw at us, because Kelowna will get their share, but we're going to be here for the long haul, it seemed like. That was the game that kind of told them that.
Yeah, it was. We came out, I think it was a 2-1 win, as per usual, in game 1. It was 3-2. I think it was actually 3-2, to be honest. Yeah, but then we kind of went south for a bit. And honestly, personally, I started fighting the puck in games 3 and 4. The guys played great. But we ended up being down 3-1. And Kevin had a decision to make, wherein I wouldn't have blamed him if he went to Mike Wall at that point, because I just wasn't giving the team quality goaltending. I went to him after game 4 before we got on the bus to Kelowna, and I said, Kevin, I'd like one more crack at it, but it's your call. He let me know that night that I was going to play again in game 5. And game 5 started off a little tentative. I know I was fighting a puck a little bit early. I didn't feel it. And as a goalie, sometimes you just make a couple key saves and it really just drags you into the fight. And then we did. We had a 0-0 game into overtime, and then Brian Nathy with dumping the puck in, but somehow went off Kelly Gart's stick and in. And don't give us life. Honestly, don't give us life, because that gave us life. And Kevin told us before game 5, he said, you guys steal one game 5. I guarantee you're going to win game 6 at home in front of the Everett fans. I guarantee it, because that building will be raucous and it'll be loud. And he wasn't wrong. And he said, game 7, anything can happen. And we tie up games late from Ivan Baranka, who we all saw in training camp, tied it with 3 minutes left. And Jeff Schmidt did his thing in overtime, and we scored 3 overtime wins in a row to win the Western Conference Championship.
Highlight of my career, no matter what, in my many years of sports and in the 90s and things like that. And I worked in the Johnstown Chiefs. Nothing will compete to games 5, 6, and 7 against the Rockets. You were on the other side of the ice when the goal was scored. What was the shock like for you? What was that? Like, do you remember anything after that goal was scored?
It was disbelief. It was truly disbelief, because honestly, I don't know if we actually thought we could beat Kelowna, because they were the Memorial Cup hosts and they were the best team in the league throughout the season in the West. And, we're all having fun. It's like, hey, we're in game 7. This is fun. I remember thinking with 3 minutes left, like, if we lose, you know what a season. What a season. We set all these records, but then we tied it. We get to overtime, and I think we were hemmed for the first 5 minutes, and we go down, and John Dahl, or I think it was Johnny Dahl, got into the net and goes off Jeff Schmidt. And like, it was disbelief. It was truly disbelief that we had just pulled this off. To do what we did, expansion team going to the Western Hockey League Finals, being the Memorial Cup hosts, like, I was in shock. Like, we were all looking at each other like, we couldn't believe it. I actually just couldn't believe it.
Well, same here. Happened. And best part was, I think the celebration, now I really think about it, I think you guys took the Western Conference trophy, the whole team, and just, we're out of here. Off to Medicine Ave. It was great.
We I think part of us kind of knew that was our
Yeah.
WHL champ. Unfortunately, I regret that maybe we enjoyed that too much. But how did we not? With we weren't supposed to be there. And it's tough to tell a bunch of kids who've never won anything and had success in this league that you guys can't touch this trophy. No, we're taking that trophy. We're going to hoist it. We're all going to touch it, and we're going to enjoy the heck out of this because we did, and it was awesome. It was surreal. I still have photos with fans outside where we got on the bus there. We don't regret any of that. It was awesome. How do you not celebrate that?
Exactly.
You win a trophy.
I don't think we could drink. Well, we could drink out of that, but I don't think we did drink out of it. But we could have if we really wanted to. We could have. It was there.
We certainly could have.
Yeah. We should go back to that. I think it's still there at the front office. We should go get that drink in before they move it or something like that. But now just like think about we're going to go to your, a little bit of pro in college, with the University of Saskatchewan a little bit, but think of you yourself at a 17-year-old where you were with Kootenay, and then you go finish like a playoff run like you did. You had a goals against of under 2, 186, a 938 save. You had 3 shutouts in the playoffs. I mean, that's something you got to be proud of. I mean, now as you think about it, that's something you've got to be proud of from that playoff run for you, the way you played.
Yeah, for sure. Because honestly, when I was 18 years old, I played two playoff games in Swift Current, lost them both, played 3 the next year. So I was 0-5. So that's more importantly why that first playoff win in game 1 was so huge for me, to get that monkey off my, because I just really didn't have playoff success at all. And for whatever reason, I was putting playoffs on a pedestal. I remember talking to goalie coach Shane Clifford. Like, Cliffy, what do I got to do? And he said, Harv, is the game still played on 200 by 80 feet sheet, 85-foot sheet? I said, yeah. It's like, is your job to stop a black puck? I said, yeah. It's like, don't overthink it. Just do what you do. You've done it all year. Go do it again in playoffs. And that from Shane Clifford helped so much for me, because I thought that, you see these goalies, they elevate their play. They do that, and you think you have to do something different. And it's like, no, just go stop pucks. At the end of the day. And I did without my teammates' help, but everything just clicked.
Great. Well, I know you mentioned Shane Clifford. We'll talk about him in a second, but talk about, I guess, like I said to start with your intro, I mean, I'll put you there, the Mount Rushmore of goaltenders for the Everett Silvertips. But you got to be proud of the goaltenders that came after you. I mean, I'll include Wall right there. After that, you can go to Leland Irving, David Regie. After that, you can go to Ken Simpson. After when I was gone, you have Carter Hart. You got Dustin Wool, and and then the guys that are playing today. Everett Silvertips. I mean, I don't know if it was I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but I'll say goaltenders have been very successful coming out of Everett, Washington.
Yeah, well, I think it started from day one. Doug Sotart, and he was a former goaltender himself for the Montreal Canadiens. I remember him telling me, he's like, Harv, I wanted you in the expansion draft because you had a bad finish to your season. I knew you'd be motivated. You would be hungry. And it takes a goalie to know that mindset, that Doug would take that chance. I mean, knew I had something to prove, and I came in hungry my 20-year-old season. So I think Doug laid the foundation to that. And then acquiring Mike Wall, like, what a trade that was. I think we got him for maybe a late round pick. But for Doug to have the eye to get the first 2, and then credit the scouting staff of Scott Scoville, who was there, and these guys finding the Leland Irvings. Like you said, the Carter Hart, Dustin Wolf, like, to put me on that Mount Rushmore, I'm much appreciated. I don't know if I truly belong there, but I credit the organization. It's something what they were doing, identifying talent and identifying the right people. Because you can be talented, but if you don't find the right guys, who are driven and who want it, it's not always going to work. And it's even to this day, they still have great goals.
Well, after Everett kind of chapter, in the 04-05 season, played 10 games in a rock for the United Hockey League at the time, and then went off. I mean, you can talk about those times as a pro, but then you went to the University of Saskatchewan and played there quite a bit. Played there from 2005, I believe, to 2010. So talk about like the year after Everett. So your off season's over, season's over after Medicine Hat. Was the goal to go pro right out of the gate? Let's talk about your kind of the pro possible offerings you had, and then decision to go back to school at the University of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, it was tough. There was a lot of offers at the end of that '04 season because of the success we had. The tough part
Yeah.
was the NHL lockout was that season. So a lot of guys were coming down from the American League to the East Coast Hockey League. So it was tough. I went to the New York Rangers development camp that summer. I went to the Washington Capitals development camp. And they all said, we like you, but we can't be signing guys because we don't have room. So it was tough. So I knew with the CIA, the scholarship program from the WHL, that I had half a season to explore it before I'd be penalized and have to sit out a year. So I went down, started off in Louisiana Ice Skaters in the East Coast League, but they had Kyle Kettles who came down from the American League. So then I had to go find another place. So I went to Rockford in the United League, which was really good hockey. Unbelievable hockey, to be honest. But I just kind of saw it, and I was sitting there in day to day, and it's like, look, how do I pass up 5 years of school paid for when I can come do this when I'm done? And to me, it was a no-brainer. So I went to the University of Saskatchewan, played 5 seasons there, had time of my life, and I'm still living in Saskatoon because of that. But it was tough. Well, the lockout didn't help, but at the same time, it's a great program the WHL offers with the scholarships.
Yeah, there's a little bit with the NCAA kind of action going on, and things are changed, but it's still there. I mean, it's a great program. I mean, obviously, talking to Cody Thoring about it, I mean, if it wasn't for that, who knows where Cody would be, and he's working where he definitely got his degree in. But I do want to get your version of that, with playing that league in hockey with University of Saskatchewan. It, like I mentioned with Cody, it was like an extension of the Western Hockey League, so you pretty much knew everybody for the most part, just a lighter schedule.
Yeah, well said. Extension of the Western Hockey League. I think that's why it was so fun, because everyone was the same age and you kind of had a little more freedom where there was no curfew and you weren't living with billets, you were living on your own. And everybody was close in that age group from 20 to 24, 25 years old. And it felt right. To me, it was, like I said, it was all guys you had played against in the Western Hockey League, and it's truly great hockey.
A little bit. Played in, I believe, the Central Hockey League, Boise, Shreveport, Texas, and Evansville, Indiana, which I've done many a times down in Evansville, Indiana, actually 3 hours south where I live up here in Indianapolis. But so talk about, like, after university, then you decided to go pro. Was it like one of those, like, hey, let's give another crack at it?
Yeah, I said, hey, I got my degree now. Let's go play. Let's just go have fun. It's almost like, well, you get paid to go travel for a year, pretty much. I was in Bossier, Shreveport with Mitch Love. That was awesome. Seeing Lover again, reconnecting. It was so fun living down in Louisiana. Then I went to Fort Worth in Texas for a bit. You got to go to my first NFL game and a Dallas Cowboys game. So stuff I got to do there, and then getting trained in Evansville. It's like I got to see parts of the USA that I'd never seen before, and I was playing pro hockey, and it was great. But I knew I was 27 years old, and life starts to kick in where I might need a real job with pension and benefits, and I couldn't keep doing that because I saw a lot of guys, they were holding on to the hope that keep playing and then be a coach if they didn't get it their education. It's like, well, there's only so many coaching jobs out there for guys. So I kind of read the tea leaves there, and so it was time to, but I had 1 year of it, and it was fun.
When did the coaching bug hit you? When did that start getting into your blood?
Well, Mitch Love went from Everett to Saskatoon, where I was. So it was kind of thought about it, and Lover was here for, I think it was 2 years, and they had a goalie coach, and we kind of loosely chatted about when he'd come over for dinner, because me and Mitch are very, very close to this day still. And he just said, Harv, you got interest? And with the job I have full time, I have the extra time to do it. And, I've always been into coaching goalies a bit here on the side, and just, I kind of kept doing it. And when Lover presented me with the opportunity, there's no way I could say no. It's something I love, and it's my passion to this day. And I truly thank him for getting me back into it. And it's been great doing it now 6 years.
I guess the OG of goalie coaches for you anyway, and Shane Clifford, who was the goalie coach with the Everett Silvertips. I know when I was still there when Kevin was the head coach. It had to be an ultimate experience working with him, because with goalie coaches, those are the guys you don't see much, because a lot of times they're not on the bench. They're upstairs. But they are very critically important for the goaltender, because that's where they can watch the video. That's where they can work on a few things when everyone's in the dressing room or back home. Talk about the importance of Shane Clifford in your life, just in general as a goalie, and just as a person with Shane Clifford.
Well, first and foremost, he's an unbelievable human being. And to me, I learned from him too that without having that relationship with your goalie coach, there can't be the coaching aspect. And Shane Cliffy, the dog, he started that right away with me. As soon as camp started, we built that relationship, and I was a sponge. Whatever he had to say, I would soak it up because I'd never had coaching like a goalie coach full time in my career until I got to Everett. Is that a reason why I had success? Probably some coincidence there for sure. First full-time goalie coach I had. And he was so important. And it's not always the drill that you do, it's whatnot. It's just his perspective and how he helped me mentally. He got me over the hump. And I thank him. He was unbelievable. And look where he went on to go, the goalies he's had too. And still to this day, he's still doing it. And I can't thank him enough for what he did for my career as a goalie.
Now with the Saskatoon Blades and the good old Eastern Conference, talk about your goalies in Saskatoon. I know this is a Western Hockey League show. Talk about the upcoming season for the Blades. I know Brendan Sawney moved on. He's now in the American Hockey League, I believe. Talk about the Blades, the two goaltenders you have, and I know the Blades had some pretty good seasons the last couple of years under Mitch Love and Brendan Sawney.
Yeah, it's great. It's a de facto of the Kevin Costine system, and these guys are great coaches because of him and the systems we play. It allows for success for our goaltenders. We have a special one here in Evan Gardner, second-round draft pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's going to be back for his 19-year-old season. He was just at the World Junior Camp for Hockey Canada. He's been great. And then we have Ethan McCallum, who we brought in from Medicine Hat last year. And, Evan got hurt last year, and Ethan carried the mail for us for a good portion of the season, and he had great success as well. His game grew with leaps and bounds when he got here. So we have two special guys at 19 years old right now. And obviously in the league, it's, typically like to have that kind of age group, but we'll see how it plays out. And it's just, it's special because they're both fun to work with. And to me, it's not, these guys are awesome.
I'm trying to think, this is one question I want to ask you. Has goaltending changed when you played in, like, let's say 03, 04 till now? Because to me, it looks like the style looks the same. Has it changed about? Because I know maybe from the 80s to then it was a big change, but now from the 2003 goaltender to the 2025 goaltender, where's the change? I mean, it doesn't seem much of a change, but there's probably some changes here and there.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I play, a lot of it was beating things on your knees and more of a blocking style. And now it's beating it on your feet, reading plays on your feet, because the game is so east-west now that you have to be beating pucks on your feet or you're going to get beat and you'll get exposed and be chasing the plays. So the biggest thing for our guys is to be beating pucks on their feet. Obviously the reverse VH is revolutionary to what it's done. I didn't play that. That's a huge difference. It's just the reactivity, I think, is kind of being lost on today's goaltenders, though, unfortunately, that they think that getting there and getting in position, that's going to make the save for you. So I think there's a channel in which I kind of like in my coaching, just from when I played, and I see clips on the Silvertips Twitter of how I made saves. At the end of the day,
right,
I don't care how you make save. We just got to get you there, and you got to make the save with how you win hockey game. But I think just more reading pucks on your feet now.
Well, that's the physical side, but the mental side, I think, is a lot different. A lot of mental activities. I think a lot of goalies have mental health coaches. I don't know if you had a mental health coach as far as a goalie when you played in the Western Hockey League, maybe a little bit in pro, who knows? But talk about the mental standpoint of a goal, because I think that was one of the big. I think you mentioned like the physical side's important, but I almost think the mental side for a goalie it's right up there as maybe one of the most important things for a goaltender.
Absolutely. It's huge. And you're right. We have a mental performance coach on our staff now, who's great. But yeah, that stuff didn't exist when I played. I said, I'd get little tidbits from Doug and Kevin, which helped me and really helped me back then. It was more simplified when I played. But the mental side of the game, that's what's grown so much. So a lot of these guys have these mental performance coaches, which, if it helps at the end of the day, some guys need it, some guys don't. But it allows them a different avenue, to cope with the stresses and the ups and downs of the season, because it's a roller coaster, and it's trying to stay even keel. And I always tell these guys, I can tell you what I did, but that may not necessarily work for you, because everybody's different.
Well, I do have to congratulate you. I just, saw this on the Saskatoon Blades website, named a part of the coaching staff for the Hockey Canada's 2025 U17 World Hockey Challenge on the coaching staff. Congratulations to that. It's a nice feather in your cap. I know, just now I kind of recall, those hockey challenges do come up almost every year for the under 17. That's going to be really cool for you, because that's, there's quite a few guys that you've coached with that I know Mitch Love did some work with Hockey Canada. I believe Tyler Dietrich did a lot of Hockey Canada things a little bit on the coaching side. I know, just I mean, heck, Jay Barry did stuff with Team USA. For you, this is really cool for you. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I know it's awesome. It's, it doesn't happen without the goaltenders we have here. Again, they make me look smart. But yeah, seeing Mitch Love go through Hockey Canada, Brendan Stoney went through Hockey Canada. It's just, when you get a coach, you want to do it at the highest level, and the chance to represent your country is truly a privilege and an honor. And I'm thrilled to be doing it.
Let's catch up for you as far as what you're doing besides the goaltending coach with the Saskatoon Blades. What else keeps you busy?
Full-time dad. I got a young son, Alexander, who's 4, and a second one who's 10 months old in Cameron. That eats up a lot of my time. And getting Alex into hockey now, and Cameron's he'll be grabbing a hockey stick pretty soon, I'm sure, as well. Yeah, full-time dad.
Be born around the hockey rink, so definitely will be on the ice with you while you're coaching a little bit here. I almost guarantee it, and get to know some of the Blades players. That's always kind of for them to grow up around the rink. So that's going to be a big influence for them as you go along in your professional career.
Oh, for sure, it is. It's already started. We have a Christmas dinner with our goalies here. They come over and they get to see my son Alex, and it's a highlight of his time. He gets to play mini sticks in the basement with them, and what he gets to see with these players, and they're so good to him. He's always at the rink. Evan Gardner, our goalie, he comes and he sits on the bench for warm up with me, and we watch warm up, and he gets fist bumps, and it's just growing up around the game. That's how I got into it with my dad, and it's how it starts.
Well, before I let you go, I always will give you the final word to the fans of Everett. I know, even during the season that you played one season in Everett, which is kind of, it's strange, but yeah, you got that one season, but it was probably the best season you could possibly have as a major junior hockey player. But that fan base, boy, they loved you to death, Jeff, amongst others. But boy, they loved that number 31 between the pipes, and they were something special for you. They had to be.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I still remember Dave Pelan, the late Dave Pelan, who passed away after our time there. The PA public address announcer saying my name, and the spotlight would come on me, and then the 8,200 in that building cheering, chanting Harvey. For a guy like me who never wanted to play pro hockey in the NHL, that was it right there. That was it. It was what the fans created. I thank every single fan who came out and supported us that season, and including the work you did too, Keith. Like the audio that you brought to the game clips we have that I still listen to. Everything about that year was surreal. And it's the fans, and it was the organization, yourself, Dave Sheldon, everybody. It was just a magical season, but it wouldn't be possible without the people. And first and foremost, it's the fans of Everett. Thank you guys so much.
Well, hope you get to go back. I don't know when Saskatoon comes to Everett, or if Everett goes to Saskatoon here in the upcoming season. I don't know what the schedule looks like. I know you were back for the alumni golf tournament, so I hope you get a chance back there and see the Blades play the Silvertips again.
Yeah, they come there this year. We played the Tips last year, and it was tough. I was on the bench, and it was kind of heart-wrenching, or it's tough to be cheering against the Tips, but now I'm a Blade, but I'm still wearing green. I'm still a big Everett guy. I'd like to get back there and I'm sure there's still probably some of the same fans to this day. Yeah, they go to those games. It's truly a special environment that they have. It is the best fans in the Western Hockey League, bar none. We had Logan DuPont, who's an Everett Silvertip on our under-17 team last year, and we chatted at the tournament how great the fans are, and everybody knows it's the best place to play in the league. Yep, without a doubt.
Very true, and that building's still loud as it always is today. All right, Jeff, I'll let you go. Thanks again for joining me. Much appreciated. Thank you for that 2003-2004 season. It was a pleasure watching you play between the pipes, as always, with the rest of the hockey club. But you gave me some good highlights. Mark that one down. Jeff Harvey with a huge save. Thank you very much for your just all out and 100% and then some, what you did in the community and also on the ice. It's great catching up with you again, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
I appreciate it. Thanks for doing this, Keith.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, that's Jeff Harvey, number 31, the pride of St. Albert, Alberta, for your Everett Silvertips in the 03-04 season. All right, don't forget, you can listen to all our Everett Silvertips Time Machine podcasts on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to watch this episode on Tips YouTube TV. It's another episode of the Everett Silvertips Time Machine podcast. My name's Keith Gerhart. Good night.